Welcome back, X-Wing fans, to Wookies on X-Wing. My name is Matt.
I'm John.
And today we've got round one, game one of our Fredericton Gamezilla Store Championships. That was a lot of games.
Yeah, it's been a while here, but it's kind of nice to see a Decimator and a Phantom on both sides of the playing field. So you want to give us a rundown through Pat's list?
Yeah, so Pat, you'll remember he's our triple fire spray player of renown. He's playing Whisper with a Recon Specialist, Fire Control System, Advanced Cloaking, and Veteran Instincts. So our, Buzzsaw. And then he's got Captain Oicunn with Mara Jade, Ysanne, can't pronounce her name very well, unfortunately, but Dauntless title, a Tactical Jammer, and the Expose pilot talent.
Well, Matt is playing a Whisper with Fire Control Systems, Advanced Cloak, and a VI as well, lacking the Recon Specialist. And instead of Oicunn, we have Chiraneau, Vader, Ysanne, Experimental Interface, and Expose. So kind of similar, but also very, very different in a lot of ways.
Yeah, at least the two Decimators are definitely going to play differently.
I mean, interested to see how Oicunn will shape up against Chiraneau. I mean, the sheer damage potential that Chiraneau has with Vader and Expose has an extreme potential.
It's a little unnerving.
As well as two phantoms, each on the other side of the board, jockeying for position, blasting through that Decimator. I mean, that's going to be fairly interesting. I think Matt has a little bit of advantage fighting the opponent's Decimator just because of Vader's ability.
Though to be fair, Pat does have initiative, which means his Whisper is shooting and cloaking first.
That is true. So I noticed the first thing I noticed right off the bat was that neither of these players want to deal with asteroids, which I can't blame them.
No,
I mean,
not given what they have on the board, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, we can remember Pat just flying through with his fire sprays in previous videos, just flying through the asteroids, not caring at all, not giving a single fuck, and now he's playing two ships that both really either don't care about asteroids or really don't want to be anywhere near them.
I'm interested to see if the jammer is going to do anything for Pat's Phantom there. Seeing the list, it intrigued me. Just with that few ships, I'm not sure if it'll get used, but I mean, it is pretty cheap, so...
Yeah, I mean, for only 1 point, it might come up, and it might be that one time where, hey, an obstruction is an obstruction. A lot of people like the obstruction the way that it is, and you only benefit from one obstruction, so throwing that on the playing field means that you don't have to necessarily hide behind an asteroid, you can just hide behind Oicunn.
As far as I remember, it only obstructs enemy attacks, which is quite nice.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of play the shooting game, ducking and covering between your Decimator.
So the astute ones will note that this game takes place well before the recent FAQ that just came out, which now dictates the timing of decloak actions. So in this one, the players are decloaking on their activation of the Phantom, rather than in a basically separate phase.
So let the history books remember this for prosperity's sake.
We'll see what happens. It's they really don't want to get close to each other, do they?
No, they're jockeying for position. This is basically the epicest game of chicken you can have with what you have on the board. I mean, two Decimators wanting to go at it, driving kind of away from each other, also wanting to go directly towards each other at the same time, having that duality. The Phantoms wanting to jockey for position, buzzsaw right into those Decimators, but not wanting to get shot at by the 360 turret. That's a lot of scariness.
So who blinks first?
Yeah. But we'll see who blinks. We'll see who's blind.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested to see what Oicunn can do to the Rear Admiral.
Should be interesting. I like Oicunn just against the Phantom on that off chance that gets too close. Hey, I'm gonna ram you. You're gonna like it.
Yeah, prepare full ramming speed is definitely a lot of fun. Another thing that I like about Oicunn, and a lot of people don't realize, is this very similar interaction with the Dauntless title as Night Beast, for instance. Whereas if you do a green maneuver, and stress yourself out with the Dauntless title because you bump somebody, you're stressed. Now, when you go to check stress, you've done a green maneuver and you can immediately get rid of that stress.
It's cheeky. I love it.
I know you do.
But,
So you can have a really high action economy with Oicunn, especially if you're ramming into people. And if people are purposely setting themselves up to being rammed, getting those green maneuvers is gravy.
and the Decimator's got some really nice greens. It's got a lot to work with.
Oh, absolutely.
Here we go.
And no reds.
No, love it.
So here comes the Phantoms, cloaking and decloaking.
Looks like we're gonna be seeing some shots this turn, at least from the Decimators.
I mean, from Pat's perspective, he wants to be, even though he's not painted red, he wants to be the orc. He wants to ram. Whereas Matt here, he wants to broadside.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Got a little
Close.
He might have fit in there.
Yeah, he
did.
did.
He fit in there. Wow. He almost lost his Phantom there.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he would have been within range, and it's still a range 3 shot, but he would not have been a good position for next turn.
No.
And he still is not in that good of a position because his decloaking options are very limited.
Yeah, he's towing the edge of that board as far as decloaking goes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was not expecting Pat to bank right. I was expecting him to just go full bore right towards the Phantom and start putting the pressure on that way, whereas the Phantom can come up at the flank. And now I guess he's getting that sort of crossfire that he wants with the tactical jammer. So I guess you get to see firsthand what it's going to do.
Yeah. And the perk with the Decimator, it's got that turret, so it's like the Falcon. It doesn't really care where the Phantom ends up. He's still going to be able to shoot it.
There's no auto thrusters here yet.
No, the Phantom can't take auto thrusters, because that would be silly.
I know.
Alright, so we got, looks like Oicunn's going to go for his broadside there. Matt wants to be in at least range 2 of them to be able to trigger Oicunn's pilot ability. Because if he does get crits, they're going straight through. Decimator's got no defense dice.
So what you can see Matt doing here is he's acquiring a target lock, and then with his experimental interface, he's using expose, so he has a fairly high action economy. A target lock with expose is brutal. He basically is, if I remember correctly, he's getting an additional attack dice for basically nothing. He's not giving up an agility because he doesn't have one to give up. So he's
not losing anything.
He's kind of cheating. I like it.
There we go. Yeah, it looks like Pat's trying to keep Oicunn between his Whisper and at least Chiraneau.
It's a good strategy. I mean, Chiraneau has Vaders, so any shots that Matt wants to fire at the Phantom, he sort of has to decide, if he's going to basically shoot blanks just to Vader him, or whatnot, because 5 defense dice is potent.
5 or 6, depending on the range. Yeah, it's grotesque.
Papers, please. Papers, please. Yeah, it's always fun to have mid-game interruptions like this, but it keeps the ball rolling, which is good for tournaments.
Yeah, we need the score sheets. So it looks like Pat went with the cloak. Either wasn't in range or wasn't gonna risk it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he can't get those shots, then he doesn't get to cloak, and you'd rather.
Or he didn't decide to cloak.
Well, yeah, because that's double focus, so that's recon specialist kicking in.
It's like he took it, decided against it. He was gonna cloak originally, but who will see?
I mean, if he can't shoot this turn, he doesn't have to decloak next turn, right?
Yeah, it can definitely be to your disadvantage having to decloak. End up, as much as you end up where you want to be, sometimes you just really don't want to move.
And that's the beauty with advanced cloaking device. You get the choice. You don't have to cloak after you shoot. You can cloak. and it gives you more tactical options. Gives you a lot of ability to just be a pain in the butt, and that's what the Phantom's really good for.
So it looks like Pat's Whisper does have range. So I'm checking it there. There we go.
They're getting their dice ready.
Da, 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 da.
Oh baby, oh baby.
Well, maybe Pat's Whisper didn't, because that's Matt shooting.
Yeah, that's Chiraneau shooting 4 attack dice with expose.
All right,
Oh,
that was Whisper.
Sorry guys.
It's all
We
right.
see 4 attack dice and we can't figure out where it's from.
No, that was Whisper shooting at. Well, looks like he was in range 3 of Oicunn, so not very often you see a Decimator with defense dice.
What's interesting is that with this list, they both are running Ysanne Isaard, and I find her kind of interesting. I like her and don't like her at the same time, and I'll tell you why. I like her because she gives you a bit of an extra defensive option, and she's not too expensive, and it'll come into play very in the long run if you have a very strong end game. The reason why I don't like her is it's a free action. It's not a free evade token, so you're not assigning it to your ship. So if you were stressed, you don't get the benefit from her. And so with Matt's combo, unless he purposely limits his action economy, he's not really getting a lot of use out of her.
Yeah. I mean, even on a Decimator, I don't know. The 1 defense dice is nice, but it's still just 1. Like I see her being a neat idea on a fire spray. Actually makes me want to kind of run it, just to see what would happen with a fire spray with 3 defense dice. But
What does it do? She gets they get an evade token. They don't get an extra defense dice.
yeah,
So it's kind of like it's kind of like a poor man's C-3PO. Oh wow.
that hurt. Oh, at least you had the focus to spend, so.
Yeah, still 5 defense dice into. You need to spend the focus. That's rough.
Yeah.
Matt, get new dice.
So here we go. Remember that ram we were talking about?
Oh baby, oh baby.
Here it comes. It's a gentle love tap.
I like it.
And he doesn't end up on the asteroid.
Smooth flying.
So, Decimator kisses Decimator.
Yeah, and because I mean, what I like about Oicunn, normally when you have an elite pilot, you want to have a high pilot skill. Like you're taking that elite pilot for their pilot ability and their elite pilot skill. I like the fact that Oicunn is very low pilot skill.
He's only 4.
Yeah, and it works well with his pilot ability.
Yeah, most of the time he does want to be moving before stuff, so he can't get out of his way.
Yeah, so like TIE Swarms will be able to move out of his way, you know, very like rookie pilots, that kind of thing. But for the most part, anything else, any of these really annoying ships, they're sticking there.
Yeah, and the nice thing about him moving before is he runs into them, he still performs an action with Dauntless, and then they move away so he can shoot them.
Yeah.
So that the low pilot skill definitely plays to his advantage. Alright. So Pat's Whisper is going to get stuck in now.
Interesting position for him. I mean, he's going to be getting some shots at from the Vader Chiraneau combo. Maybe maybe Matt will fire at the Decimator instead. I'm not sure, but there's 2 real options, and neither of them are wrong at this point.
I would just from playing against the Whisper, I would shoot Whisper anyway.
Yeah. No,
As
that
much
makes
as the
sense.
Decimator's got a lot of health, you can at least track the thing down and shoot it.
That's for sure. But at the same time, I mean, you are also playing, you know, in an event where, for the most part, if you're able to kill the Decimator, and the Phantom wants to pick a fight with Chiraneau, Chiraneau has enough defenses with the evade token from Isaard, and the Vader ability to pluck the Phantom out of the way late game. So it's one of those things you don't really know.
There we go. We got our Phantoms in the joust.
Absolutely.
Here's where that initiative bonus is definitely going to be in Pat's favor.
Oh, yeah.
So you can shoot at Matt's 2 defense Phantom, but Matt can only shoot back at a 4 defense.
So, yeah, the 4 hits, very strong.
Yeah, and looks like one evade, burns a token, still loses shields.
Brutal.
Oh, he took one earlier, so that's a point of damage. And it's a crit. Ugh. That's an in trouble whisper right there. So, looks like Pat's maybe deciding if he recloaks. It's not much of a decision, I don't think, but...
No.
You know.
You want to cloak.
Yeah.
There is no reason not to at this point.
So there we go, we get the extra focus from Whisper, get target lock, all of the tokens.
The problem with Matt is even next turn he's in a really rough spot.
He really is.
Because he can't decloak forward, he can't decloak through the asteroid, he only is limited to one direction for decloaking, and Oicunn can just put himself right in the middle of the way, be a pain in the butt, and or the other option is Matt just doesn't decloak and tries to get the hell out of dodge, which, in my opinion, that is the right move.
Yeah, because if Matt does not trigger his advanced cloaking, Oicunn can just shoot him anyway.
Yes.
And 3 versus 2 is still not a favorable situation.
Luckily, Oicunn doesn't have Vader, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
The automatic, I kill you.
But Oicunn does have Expose, so they both have Expose.
Looks like he's gonna... Oh, Matt was gunning for Oicunn. I suppose it kind of makes sense, just burn him down.
Well, I mean, at that point, he still has a focus, right? The enemy Phantom still has a focus, is cloaked. He has a bunch of attack dice, yeah, but it's not going to do that much, right? Where he can easily pile the damage onto the Decimator, and then Vader's Decimator can deal with the Phantom, as I mentioned.
Yeah, the automatic damage is nice. That 5 attack dice with Expose, that is beautiful sight.
It is brutal.
Looks like there's a crit in there.
Yeah, and the chances, and that's the thing, when you're throwing so many attack dice, the chances of getting crits are high.
There's a minor explosion there too. Yeah, and then even Vader afterwards just throws another critical out. So that took a lot of damage, that Decimator did this turn.
Yeah. And Decimators are not cheap.
No.
I mean, there's 2 ships on the board for a reason, right?
They're hardy, but not like a shuttle. They're not cheap.
I love the Space Cow.
Alright, so here we go. We got... looks like Pat's gunning for 4 attack dice. He's gunning for Whisper.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, he's got 1 health left. All he needs to do is get a lucky... Or, at this point, not even a lucky hit.
Yeah. With four hits, Matt has to defend against all of them. And he doesn't.
Does not. He gets 1 with a focus. So that's unfortunate, but with the amount of hits that Pat got, it was to be expected.
Yeah.
Matt is looking to be in trouble now.
Well, if Chiraneau is able to just pile the damage on to Oicunn right away, he has a chance to kill the Phantom with Vader. But he can't risk at all keeping either one of those in the loop.
No. Pat's playing aggressive and coming right after Oicunn.
As he wants to do. I mean,
there's free damage is free damage.
Yeah, exactly. There's no downside to it, and he's still getting his actions.
It's a beautiful thing. I kind of expected Pat to break Oicunn off, but at the same time, I guess this does make sense. There's an advantage to preserving points, but
pedal to the metal right now. I mean, do as much damage to Chiraneau as possible. Yeah, and the reason why Oicunn took a crit was because of Chiraneau's ability.
Yeah.
To just pile on that damage.
It's nice. And then Vader going, I don't like you. I hate you. Arr.
Your hatred makes you strong.
Oh, expose. You really need to play that more often.
It's good. It's solid. I mean, it's Expose was one of those cards that you didn't really see very often. You might see it on Wedge, and I mean, it's good with Wedge in combo with Wes, for example. You know, Wes just piling off the tokens and Wedge finishing them off, but.
Yeah, Reg, that's grotesque.
But I mean, Decimators, they have 0 agility, so there literally is no downside other than eating up an EPT. There's no downside to it. I personally prefer Opportunist on a lot of other fighters, especially like you know, Porkins, who can just shed stress because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But you know, with the Decimator, Expose is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Experimental interface has made it even more beautiful.
Definitely. No, it's a nice ability. I'll definitely have to look into playing it more.
What I would like to try with Chiraneau, rather than Vader and Expose, is something like Gunner and Marksmanship with experimental interface.
Yeah, that's the thing with Marksmanship is, it's nice, but almost always I would prefer to just focus instead for the potential defensive benefit.
But with a Decimator, you don't care about the potential defensive
exactly.
benefit, and it's better than 2 focus because you know you're getting those crits, and it's costing you a pretty penny. But you know, experimental interface with Marksmanship, pretty
Being
solid.
able to target lock and Marksmanship that has potential. I like it.
Yeah.
Could be scary.
High action economy. Combine that with Gunner. You're lining yourself up for a lot of brutal damage.
Looks like there we go. Pat's Decimator. That's it. He's done. 1-1. Good show.
Absolutely. Now we're in the long run, the long haul, short haul, something haul. It's a dump truck. It hauls something.
That it does. So it looks like Matt's got 3, possibly 4 points of damage on his Decimator. Depends what that crit is.
Yeah.
And Pat's got a full health, I believe, yeah, full health Whisper. Oh, Matt's got a con. He's trying to repair the crit. I hope that's not a console fire. I sincerely do. That would be depressing.
No, that's rough. All he is exposing. Oh, I mean, Patrick is not in a really good spot for right now for this. I mean, Expose. I mean, yeah, he has a lot of defense dice, but a really solid hit with Vader on top of that could mean the end.
And being cloaked right there was a little awkward.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
could only go forward. And this puts him... I mean, yeah, he's range 1, so he's getting 5 attack dice, but he's receiving 5 in return.
And I think Chiraneau has the pilot skill advantage.
Ah, Chiraneau's 8.
Oh, yeah, but with oh, it doesn't have VI, that's right.
No, he doesn't. So he has Expose! Imagine a pilot skill 10 Chiraneau. Yeah, the heebie-jeebies that does.
Brutal. So can the party bus kill the Vespa?
Maybe.
Not with those
Oh,
rolls.
looks like Pat did not have a fire arc on him.
For 2 hits, 2 crits.
That's unfortunate.
Good game.
And that's it. Wow, that's impressive.
The party bus reigns supreme.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. We've got lots more coverage from our Store Champion event coming up.
If you want to give us a boost, be sure to like and subscribe.
And as always, feel free to leave your comments on what you thought of the game. You have a good time?
Take care.